What's up, guys? This year, I have one team in particular that's tonight will make us 1-4. We had a chance to win, and we lost by like 4 points. It was up to Derrick Henry. He came up just short. It wasn't necessarily his fault because he actually was one of the bigger contributors, but the rest of the team is not looking good. I'll share with you what that team was. At quarterback, we have Matt Ryan. Running back, we have Derrick Henry, Joe Mixon, David Johnson. At wide receiver, we have Julio Jones, DJ Moore. Tight end, we have Hunter Henry. The defense, the Bears. Kicker, Joey Sly. And then my bench, I have Justin Jefferson. Actually, not this week, but Le'Veon Bell, Michael Gallup, Joe Burrow, Jerick McKinnon, Deontay Johnson. I mean, if you're following football at all, you'd know that this team is doing horrible right now. And, like, just by the names off this list, you probably wouldn't normally think that. You know, Matt Ryan, he has a decent offense, but, you know, with Julio out, the last 2 games he's been really bad. Actually, the last three games has been horrible for him. I don't think he's had a touchdown in the last 3 games, at least the last 2. And then Derrick Henry's been doing actually probably the best out of this group, but for a PPR league, which this is, I thought he was going to get more receptions. I think he only has like 2 over 5 games, which is horrible for PPR. But he's getting it done on the ground, and he's getting it done touchdown-wise, so he's not. That's not a bad pick. But Joe Mixon kind of slumping recently. He actually had a decent game against the Ravens, but the rest of his schedule is looking really bad. And then, you know, David Johnson. It's a new team for him, but he hasn't really been doing that great. I think he had 90 yards this last game, which isn't bad. It's not bad at all. But, you know, that's against Jacksonville. I had expected him to get at least 100, maybe a touchdown, and he couldn't even do that, so that's kind of concerning. Julio's just been injured, and he was out last game. DJ Moore has been slumping other than this Falcons game, and even then it's still concerning to me because Robbie Anderson is the favorite target for Teddy Bridgewater, which you probably wouldn't have thought at the beginning of the year, but for some reason he just has a really good connection with Robbie, and I think he's averaged almost like 100 yards a game with Teddy, and Teddy's going off, so. Next, Hunter Henry. He's just not the same without Phillip Rivers. Phillip really likes to go to the tight ends, and it was just this last game that Hunter Henry got a touchdown, and other than that, it's like he's not getting any looks, so that's pretty concerning too. Bears defense, they're okay. I had to pick them up, but they're starting to pick up a little bit. Joey Sly, he's actually doing pretty decent. Then my bench, Justin Jefferson. He had 2 really good games, and this last week he really dropped down against a really bad Seattle defense. But in my opinion, I think that was mostly because Dalvin Cook got injured, and you know they forced them to throw the ball, and Kirk just couldn't do it in a primetime game, which isn't unusual. And then Le'Veon Bell, that was just a bad pick by me. I had so many other good options I could have gone with, but he just got released today. Michael Gallup has not been producing with Dak. He did a little bit better with Andy Dalton, which is sad to see because I would have rather done it with Dak, but Dak's injured, probably out. He's out for the season, but he hasn't. Michael Gallup didn't do anything really this whole time. Joe Burrow, he's actually been decent, but against a good Ravens defense, he was terrible, and their offensive line is horrible, so that's not necessarily good. Jerick McKinnon with Mostert back, he's not going to do anything. And then Deontay Johnson has just been injured, but when he was in, he was targeted a ton. So the team looks really good on paper, and obviously they're just not producing. I will say some changes I think I'm going to make, at least tomorrow, is going to be I'm dropping Jerick McKinnon, and I'm going to try and get Chase Claypool, and then I'm going to drop Joe Burrow, and I'm going to try and get Ryan Fitzpatrick, because he's going off right now, and the Week 6 game they play is against the Jets, and I want all that for my team, because Matt Ryan has been doing nothing, and they're in kind of a tough defensive position, I think, too, because the Carolina Panthers show that they have a decent passing defense. The Saints, they've been kind of rough. They haven't been that great against the the past, but I'm gonna expect them to get better. And the Falcons' offense just isn't really doing anything, so kind of gonna try and move away from that if possible. The other thing I'd try to do is probably try and trade Hunter Henry. Le'Veon Bell. It depends kind of where he goes, but I would probably try and trade him as well, if possible, for anything. I don't want to drop him. I'm a little afraid to drop him just because, if he goes to the Steelers, maybe they'll give him his spot back, but it's kind of unlikely at this point. And then Deontay, I'm expecting him to get better, but it's not really looking that great right now. So, yeah, and if I had to try and make a trade, I would kind of hype up David Johnson as much as possible. I really liked him at first because his schedule's really good, but his performance just hasn't been that good, in my opinion. He hasn't been catching any balls, and that's kind of what I need for him to do in PPR leagues. And then Joe Mixon, you could probably trade him too, although he probably will get better the second half of the season. As far as Julio and DJ go, I would probably try and trade both of them, Julio and DJ. If you could somehow manage to get like DK, I would definitely get that. Even when DK is only getting like 5 receptions a game, it's better than slumping, So, then Hunter Henry, just so happens one of the people in this league that I have Hunter Henry in, the guy has George Kittle and Jonnu Smith, and he has Big Ben. I'm thinking I might have to throw in a guy like, I might have to throw in DJ Moore and be like, I'll give you DJ Moore, Hunter Henry, Matt Ryan for Big Ben, Smith, and some bench guy who I'll probably just drop or something. It's a droppable guy, one of his droppable guys. So I'll try to do that. We'll see how it goes. That's kind of the plan. I guess the only other thing I would try to do and say is that I think over time these guys are going to get better. If I was to make another move, it would probably be, I don't want to trade Henry, but to get other decent guys, I might have to. So we'll see. I'll keep you posted. But thanks for tuning in. If you did, have a good rest of your day and peace.